Luxury cars have always held a special place in the automotive world, symbolizing not just transportation but also status, craftsmanship, engineering brilliance, and exclusivity, and while many people admire them for their beauty, speed, comfort, and prestige, there is a reality that often goes unnoticed until someone actually owns one, and that reality is the extremely high cost of maintaining these vehicles. So in this video we are going to take a deep dive into why luxury cars have such high maintenance costs, covering everything from design philosophy to rare parts, specialized labor, advanced technology, depreciation factors, and even the psychology of exclusivity. Because understanding this topic not only reveals the truth behind the sticker shock that owners face when they walk into service centers, but also sheds light on the entire ecosystem that surrounds luxury cars. So let's begin by acknowledging that luxury car manufacturers like Rolls-Royce, Bentley, Ferrari, Lamborghini, Aston Martin, Porsche, Mercedes-Benz AMG, BMW M, and Audi RS do not simply create cars for mass production in the same way that Toyota or Honda might. Instead, they engineer machines that push boundaries of performance, comfort, and innovation, and this very philosophy of design comes with complications. Because when you are building a car with materials like hand-stitched leather, rare woods, carbon fiber, titanium, and cutting-edge electronics, the cost of not only producing but also repairing or replacing those materials skyrockets compared to conventional vehicles. For example, replacing the leather upholstery in a Rolls-Royce may involve handcrafting and matching exact patterns by artisans, something that takes hours of skilled labor rather than a quick replacement from a standard parts bin, and similarly, repairing the carbon ceramic brakes on a Ferrari could cost tens of thousands of dollars because the technology is borrowed from aerospace engineering, which is not only expensive to manufacture but also requires highly skilled mechanics to install properly. And that brings us to the next big factor, which is specialized labor, because unlike mass-market cars that can be serviced by any mechanic at the corner garage, luxury cars require mechanics with specialized training, certifications, and in many cases factory authorization. And this training is not only rare but also extremely expensive to acquire, so labor costs are naturally higher, and mechanics working on high-end luxury cars must have not only knowledge of standard automotive systems but also expertise in advanced computer diagnostics, hybrid performance systems, turbocharged engines, and in some cases even hand-built engines. For instance, a Bugatti Chiron engine is so complex that only a handful of technicians worldwide are even qualified to take it apart and reassemble it. And this limited availability of skilled labor means that owners pay premium rates for what essentially amounts to rare craftsmanship. And the same applies to parts because, unlike cars made in the millions, luxury cars are produced in very small numbers, often just a few thousand units per year, and this low production volume means that economies of scale do not apply, which is why a headlight replacement for a mass-produced car might cost a few $100s, while the headlight for a luxury car like a Bentley or an Aston Martin could cost several $1,000s, not just because of the limited production run but also because these headlights often contain advanced LED or laser technology, self-leveling systems, and sometimes even embedded design features that align with the car's aesthetic identity. And since demand is low and supply is limited, parts often have to be imported directly from the manufacturer or custom-built to order, creating delays and inflated costs. And this challenge is magnified when the luxury car is an exotic model from brands like Ferrari, Lamborghini, or McLaren, because their supply chain is not structured like Toyota's global parts distribution system, and sometimes waiting weeks or even months for a part is not unusual, during which time the car sits idle at a dealership while costs accumulate. And speaking of dealerships, another major reason why luxury car maintenance is so expensive is that many manufacturers restrict where you can service your car, because warranty agreements, performance guarantees, and brand protection often dictate that only authorized service centers can handle certain repairs. So when you own a Porsche or a Rolls-Royce, you may not even have the option to go to a local mechanic, which funnels you into high-cost dealership servicing where hourly rates are often double or triple the norm. And while this may seem frustrating for owners, from the brand's perspective, it quality control, protects brand reputation, and maintains the car's resale value. Because let's face it, if you are buying a pre-owned Ferrari, you want to know that it has been serviced properly at official centers rather than at a generic shop, and that exclusivity is part of what makes luxury cars so desirable in the first place. And that exclusivity also translates to the kind of technology luxury cars are loaded with, because these cars are not simply about moving from point A to B, they are about providing cutting-edge experiences, and this involves advanced technology like adaptive suspensions, AI-driven driver assistance systems, high-end infotainment, radar-based cruise control, night vision, multi-zone climate systems, and even features like starlight headliners in Rolls-Royce models. And while these technologies are breathtaking when they work, they are also extremely complicated and require precise calibration, meaning that any failure or malfunction costs a fortune to diagnose and repair, and often involves replacing entire systems rather than repairing individual components. For example, if a mass-market car's infotainment screen malfunctions, you may be able to replace just the screen or a circuit, but in a luxury car like a Bentley, you may need to replace the entire unit, which could cost thousands of dollars. And when it comes to performance parts, the story gets even more expensive because high-performance luxury cars use engines and drivetrains that are designed to operate at the edge of engineering limits, so their wear and tear is much more aggressive than normal vehicles, which means tires wear out faster, brakes require more frequent servicing, and fluids need to be replaced more regularly. For example, a Bugatti Veyron requires a tire change every 2,500 miles, and a set of tires can cost over $30,000. Not to mention that the wheels themselves must often be replaced along with the tires due to the immense forces they endure at speeds exceeding 250 miles per hour, and even oil changes in cars like Ferrari or Lamborghini can run into the thousands because they involve more than just draining and refilling, often requiring removal of panels, recalibration of sensors, and sometimes even specialized fluids that are unique to that engine. And these costs don't even account for the fact that luxury cars are often insured at higher premiums, which adds to the overall ownership cost. And part of the reason insurance is so expensive is because of the aforementioned costs of repair and replacement. So if an accident occurs, even a small fender bender on a Bentley could cost tens of thousands of dollars to fix due to the handcrafted bodywork, exotic paint finishes, and embedded sensors. And beyond the mechanical and technological complexities, another factor is depreciation and value retention. Because luxury cars tend to lose value quickly unless meticulously maintained, so owners are compelled to service their cars at the highest standard to protect resale value, which further pushes them toward expensive authorized servicing, because skipping proper maintenance can slash tens of thousands of dollars off resale or trade-in value. And in a way, this creates a cycle where owners have no choice but to spend heavily to maintain their car's prestige. And while these explanations might make the costs sound purely logical, there is also a psychological and branding element at play, because luxury car ownership is not only about the vehicle itself but also about the experience and the status it confers, so brands intentionally maintain high service costs to reinforce exclusivity. After all, if everyone could easily afford to maintain a Rolls-Royce or a Ferrari, the brand's exclusivity would diminish, so the high cost of maintenance becomes part of the luxury appeal, signaling that these cars are not for everyone but only for those who can truly afford them, and that exclusivity is further reinforced by concierge-level service experiences, such as Rolls-Royce sending technicians to your home or Lamborghini offering trackside service teams. And these experiences, while luxurious, are also expensive and built into the cost of ownership. So when you combine rare parts, specialized labor, advanced technology, performance engineering, restricted servicing networks, depreciation concerns, and brand psychology, it becomes clear why maintaining a luxury car is nothing like maintaining a Toyota or a Ford. And in fact, it's fair to say that the cost of maintenance is part of the luxury itself, because it ensures that these vehicles remain exclusive, rare, and admired. And while some may argue that the costs are unreasonable, the truth is that they are a natural result of the engineering ambition, craftsmanship, and exclusivity that define luxury cars. So the next time you admire a Ferrari roaring down the street or a Bentley gliding silently by, remember that behind that